Hey there, everybody. I am Debbie Crowley from ExpressivelyDeb.com, and welcome. So today we are going to work on both cards for my July 2024 mini customer card kit. So if you have placed an order with me from July 1st through today. Today is, what is it? It is Wednesday, July 10th. The kits actually went out in the mail this morning. So you should receive them by Friday, if not the latest, early next week. So this month I am showcasing the Mediterranean Blooms product suite, and we are focusing on layering. So these are the two featured cards that are in the kit, and behind each card is what your kit will look like. You will also receive a PDF tutorial from me with all of the cutting dimensions and assembly instructions. You will also receive in your email, as soon as I get the link for this video, you will receive the video link and an emailed PDF tutorial link. In the kits, you have a printed PDF tutorial. But as soon as I get the video link for this, you'll receive the video link, and you will be able to create these cards along with me, since you can pause the video, catch up, and start it again and keep going. So let's get started. I'm not sure which one I want to work on. They're both pretty equal, but I think I'm going to go ahead and go with the oranges and the Night of Navy and the pumpkin pie. Isn't this a beautiful color combination? I love it. The oranges and blues are probably one of my favorites, along with the blues and yellows, favorite color combinations. Orange and blue are complementary on the color wheel, so they're opposite. So they would naturally work with each other. And I just love the combination. So anyway, here is the card. It's a simple layered card. And then on the inside, you have your writing layer with a little bit of a decoration. And you will get your envelope with a piece of designer series paper that matches. So you can also decorate your envelope. What I used for this card, to create this card, I used, of course, the Mediterranean Blooms designer series paper, and I used one of the sentiments, the happy birthday sentiment from the Garden Meadow stamp set, and I used the dies from the Everyday Details dies. So you will also have a product list on the PDF tutorial. Okay, so let's get started. This is everything. This is how your kit will come. And everything is in the kit. I just grabbed one. I hope everything is in the kit. I'm sure it is. Okay. Usually what I do is I do put in an extra sentiment layer, so that you, just in case. Now, I know those of you who have ordered from me in the past and have received the kits know that I cannot send you the stamped images. So, but I make them generic enough so that you can customize your own sentiment. Okay, so here we go. The first thing we're going to do on this card is put the layers together. So we have a basic white layer, and I don't recall the measurements, but they're all on the PDF tutorial. And then the Night of Navy and white pattern paper layer goes on top of the... This is actually the easiest way to put together a layered a card with lots of layers, and we're going to practice plenty of that with these two cards. So the Night of Navy and white pattern paper, designer series paper, goes on the center of the large white layer that you have for the front of the card. And then the pattern paper, the fruit pattern paper, the lemons and oranges, goes on the smaller basic white matte layer. Okay, so we'll get that on there. And as I say, if I go too fast for you, just pause the video. Is this upside down? No. Pause the video and you can catch up and then restart it. Okay. So now this, okay. So now this layer goes on to this layer. Everything on this design is centered. So it's nice and easy to put together. And of course I'm using liquid glue. So you have the blue design, navy, Night of Navy designer series paper centered on the white. And you have the fruit centered on the smaller white. And then the smaller white is centered on the card front, on top of the Night of Navy. So everything is centered. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And then that goes on to the pumpkin pie card base, and this is a side fold card base, 5.5 across, 8.5 in length, scored at 4.25. Okay, and that goes on the center of the front of the card front. I like it on the pumpkin pie. It's pretty. Okay, there we go. Okay, now the sentiment. And you do have your, you have a die cut, one of the dies from the Everyday Details dies. And I did not set the stamp, so I'm going to go ahead and quickly do that now. Stamp is set on the block, and on this one I'm using Night of Navy ink. Just going to tap it lightly. And I hope my head is not in the camera, but I have to get in here to see. There we go. That's done. Okay, and then the sentiment gets attached to the card front with dimensionals. And in your kit, I gave you a little strip of dimensionals in a little bag like this. Usually the smaller pieces and parts I package separately. So we'll just pull a dimensional up here, one there, one there, and maybe half a one in the middle for good measure. Let's see. There we go. So there's equal distance here, here, and here on the bottom on each side and the bottom, so that's good. And we can press that down, and then you have a couple of the, you know, I forget what these are called. I think these are called the opal rounds. They are beautiful. They're in the Mediterranean Blooms product suite, and I'm using the Night of Navy. 3 of them you have in your kit. So they're so pretty. Okay, so we're going to put one. Doesn't want to come up. Okay, one here. And then I have 2 more. And I mean, you could place them how you like to do it. You don't have to follow. Why aren't these not coming up for me? I hope you all don't have the same problem. Okay, and this is going to go right about here. And then the third one. I'm going to try this one more time. There we go. right about there. There we go. So that the embellishments are on. And then you have another basic white card layer for the inside writing layer. And there's a small pattern paper strip. It's 1/4 inches, and I think this is probably 6 inches long, but I just cut a quarter of an inch off of the designer series paper, and this is for the bottom if you choose to do that. I think it gives it a little something, the inside, and I am going to use my little glue for this. Okay, just about a 1/4 of an inch down on the bottom edge. I'll put my line of thin line of glue. This is the fine tip glue bottle that I fill with the multi-purpose glue. And then we're going to put this here, just even it off on the bottom. Oh, I am batting 1,000 today. There we go. Okay, and then what I do, this is nice and even along across the bottom, and I just trim it from the back so that I get a nice even trim on the front. So just use the back of the card layer as a guide. There we go. And then this gets attached to the inside of the card. I've got paper flying around. I've got glue that's not going on, embellishments that I can't move. It's good night. Good day. Good day, right? Okay, here we go. So that is it. Nice and simple, quick and easy. You also have the envelope in your pack, and I gave you a piece of pattern paper should you want to decorate the flap of the envelope. I'll do this one for you, and I'm just putting glue on the back of the envelope flap, a line of glue, and then matching the flap to matching the designer series paper to the top of the envelope, making sure that it's straight on there. Okay. And then fussy cut around. Take your scissors, and it's a quick fussy cut, and just follow along. Let the envelope flap be your guide, of course. And that is it. So you have a nice decorated flap, and you have your card, your Mediterranean Blooms card, which I think is very pretty. It's a pretty generic happy birthday card. You can use any sentiment. I used happy birthday, and because I always need birthday cards. So that one is finished. Here's mine, and here's the one that I did from the kit. So they're the same. Now, the second card, I used garden green, and I did a little bit of a baker's twine bow and a round sentiment layer. And that's also one of the dies from the Everyday Details dies. So here is the kit. Get everything out here. Okay. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing we did on the other card. We're going to first attach the pattern paper to the layers. So I'm going to go with the larger layer first. me just get all these pieces out. There we go. Okay, I'm going to do the larger square first. This really isn't a square. I think this is a rectangle. I think it was 3 by 3 1/8, something like that, something along those lines. But again, you're going to have all of the dimensions in the PDF tutorial. So I'm going to go ahead and get this layer on. Okay, and then now I used 1/8 of an inch layers, so you have about a 1/16 of an inch white border around the designer series paper. I like a thin layer. On certain designs, I like a thicker, you know, the regular 1/4 inch layering, but on some designs I do like the thinner 1/8 of an inch measurement. And then we'll get the designer series paper on the square. This, I believe, is a 3-inch square. The designer series paper, and the white might be a 3 1/8 inch square. But again, you have the dimensions. So now we're going to go ahead and glue these on. This panel, this layer, goes on straight. And then this one is going to be offset. So we're going to do the same thing we did on the first card. I want the same distance on either side of the layer and as we have on the bottom. So I'm placing it right about there, and we're going to put some glue. And get that in place. So I have about the same distance on either side of the card as I do on the bottom. This can go up just a bit. Okay. And that's on there. And then this piece, we're going to offset this way. Now, depending on the slant, I don't have much. So what we're going to do and how we're going to place this, you see the distance from the bottom of the card base to this white layer? Maybe it's a little bit more than 1/4 of an inch. So that's going to be my distance on the top, from the top of this point to the edge of the card base, the top of the card base. And then I have just a little smidgen of space on the left side, and I have about 1/4 of an inch on the right side here, up here on the corner. So that layer is going to be placed like that, but I think I'm going to bring it, that's good. Okay, so it's going to be placed like that, offset. And this is a square, so it's okay. And the pattern paper that I used is really not a directional pattern. It's kind of all directions. Okay, so this is going to go on like this. Okay, and that's it. And then we're going to, there's a couple of die cut elements here, so you can put them on, because I'm looking for my tweezers. Okay, because the circle is going to go right about here. It's going to kind of cover up that point over here. So it's going to cover up, and maybe it's about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom of the pattern paper layer. So we can assume that we can put some of these die cut elements, well, maybe about there. So if we lift this up, it could go there, and it'll be fine. Okay, I'm just putting a little bit of glue. I'm just dotting glue in certain places. So I think it's probably good. Again, we're going to use this. Yeah, this should be good. Okay. And then the second one that you have can just go next to it like that. Or you can bring it, I think it looks pretty like that. So we'll go that way with it. Okay. And, you know, my allergies have been acting up. The heat has been unbelievable. Okay, so let's get this on this way. I'm gonna turn it this way. And we'll do just a little bit of a bend here, a little bit of space there. There we go. So that's on. And then the circle I stamped with, usually I stamp these, but I do not. I just wanted to get right to the video. So, okay, let me set this on the block. I have another little block here, which we'll use. Okay, and this I stamped with Garden Green. I thought I pulled my Garden Green ink. I did. Okay. Okay, so now I have that. Now, when you're using a circle, I think I used circles in my last card kit or my last video, but it doesn't really matter how you, if you get the stamp of the stamp a little crooked, because you can just turn your circle. Okay. Well, that was actually upside down, so, but there's the stamp. And then we are going, so in this kit I had two. I usually do that. You'll have two die cuts if I'm using a die cut for a sentiment. If I'm using something different for a sentiment that's not a die cut, I will generally put a larger piece of basic white in there so that you can create your own sentiment layer. And the same thing here, we're going to put the sentiment layer on with dimensionals. Yeah, so it's been really hot. We've been in a 90-degree plus heat wave. I think they said today for about the past 10 days. And I am in New Jersey. And it has just been hot. It's been hot. Okay. So this is going to go here, right about here. Maybe about 3/4 of an inch up. About 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom of the circle Garden Green layer. And we're just going to put the little sentiment circle there. And you can see the card coming together nicely. Now, in the kit, I thought I had twine. Yes, I do. Some baker's twine. And we're going to put a bow. So this paper, the Garden Green with the white circles on it, they printed the flowered greenery and the flowered pattern is from the Mediterranean Blooms. This paper is from the new 6x6 designer series paper. This is the Regals collection with the Garden Green. And I always get this paper when they Stampin' Up changes the designs on it, because you really can use it with anything. Now, I gave you a generous amount of baker's twine. You probably don't need as much as you have, but you can, of course, use it on another project. So I'm doing a double bow here. So you see what I did? I just folded the baker's twine in half, a piece of the baker's twine in half, and I'm just going to make a bow. I'm going to go slow because baker's twine, there we go. Wow, I did it on the first try. Okay. There we go. So the bow is going to go here. I don't want to cover up the sentiment, right? And I did pull some glue dots. And you can use a dot of glue if you don't have glue dots. But I did pull some glue dots for this. Okay, and we're going to put the glue dot right there. And then the center knot of the bow will go right on the glue dot. And it will hold it nicely. Okay, and then you could give your bow a little trim. So that's done. And now it's time to put the embellishments on. Let's see how I do with these. Okay, we have one. We have 3 of these as well. These are the yellow. You can see they are the yellow. And they're from the same opal rounds, and they are in the Mediterranean Blooms product suite. They are beautiful. Okay, so we'll put one here. And then, see how I put them on. Okay, did it a little different here. So I had one here. I had one up here, actually. But I could put one here. And let's go over here and put one in there. Yeah. So they're a little different from my sample, but if you see the sample, I put one here, here, and here. So I formed a triangle. Usually you form a triangle with when you're putting embellishments on the card, or you go zigzag. But you know what? There isn't a right or wrong way. Really, whatever you enjoy doing. Okay, now we're going to put the same thing. You have well, this kit has a 1/2 inch pattern paper strip. Most of them have 1/4 inch pattern paper strips. So we're going to get that on. And this is going to go on the writing layer. Same thing, just make sure your spacing is even at the bottom. And then trim the strip from the back. And it's ready to go on the inside. Birthday wish would be nice with this sentiment. And then you have the pattern paper layer that will go on the back of your envelope as we did the first one. Okay, and then you have your pretty little flap. You can stamp something on the card, on the front of the card. And so there is card number 1 or card number 2. And here is card number 1. If you have, I hope you enjoyed this card kit. I think these cards are adorable. Definitely concentrates on layering, but they're simple, quick, easy, simple cards, simple layers to cut, and simple cards to put together. I hope you enjoyed this. If you have any questions, as always, please don't hesitate to reach out to me. You can always email me or shoot me a quick email or shoot me a quick text, and I will respond. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to always express your creativity, and the only limitation is your imagination. Thanks for stopping by.